You have heard of the quarrels going on in Niger, in West Africa, about uranium being taken to Europe. That's how I came to know recently. When this crisis started, we started getting information that apparently Niger is exporting a lot of uranium to Europe and to France for them to use in their nuclear power stations to generate electricity for themselves. So this morning I took interest. I said, by the way, what is the electricity supply in Niger? Before you sell uranium to the other person, how about you? What's happening to you? Now I found, I was told, there is a measurement they call kilowatt hour per capita. Kilowatt hour per capita. Apparently, the kilowatt hour per capita of electricity in Niger is 51. 51. Every person in Niger is using 51 kilowatt hour per capita.
Good evening and welcome to our top story tonight. A major shakeup in the global energy and mining industry. France's uranium giant, once a dominant force in West Africa, is now facing a dramatic downfall after being firmly rejected by two key Sahel nations, Mali and Niger. For decades, French companies, particularly the state-linked energy firm Uranium, formerly known as Areva, extracted vast quantities of uranium from Niger's rich soil, powering millions of homes and industries across Europe. Yet, ironically, the people of Niger remained in darkness, reaping none of the wealth buried beneath their feet. That era is now crumbling. Both governments cite economic exploitation, environmental damage, and neo-colonial practices as reasons for cutting ties with France's mining industry. In a bold and historic decision, Mali and Niger have jointly refused to renew or extend uranium mining contracts with French companies. The fallout from the decisions could cost the French economy billions, especially as uranium remains a critical component in maintaining France's nuclear energy dominance, but in celebration seeing this moment as a victory for justice and true independence. According to Nigerian officials, France paid a pittance for the uranium while selling the energy it generated at a premium across Europe. And it's African leaders like those in Mali and Niger who are holding the pen. Now Niger and Mali are reclaiming control of their natural resources not just for sovereignty, but for the economic dignity of their people. This rejection has sent shockwaves through France's energy sector. Meanwhile, leaders in both Mali and Niger have confirmed plans to partner with new allies, including Russia, China, and Turkey, to develop mining operations that prioritize fair trade, environmental safety, and African development. It's more than just an economic shift, it's a clear political message. Africa is rising again, will no longer be mined for the benefit of others. Public reactions in both countries have been overwhelmingly positive. Crowds have taken to the streets not in protest. Analysts are calling it the beginning of the end for France's long-standing monopoly over African uranium. As this story continues to unfold, one thing is certain: the global resource map is being redrawn. Stay with us for more updates on this groundbreaking development.
Welcome to Talk of Africa 360, your source for insightful news, analysis, and thoughtful commentary. If you value informed perspectives and fact-based reporting, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Disclaimer: the content on this channel is based on reliable public sources and credible online information. It is intended strictly for educational and analytical purposes. We do not promote or endorse political violence, hate speech, or any form of discrimination. Our goal is to inform, not to inflame. Thanks for being here. Let's stay informed together.
Uranium mining giant in France has filed for bankruptcy protection in a shocking turn of events. But here's the twist. It's not just any company. It's one of the largest uranium producers globally, supplying nearly 20% of France's nuclear energy needs. The question is, how did this giant fall from grace, and what does it mean for the future of the industry? To understand the gravity of this situation, let's take a closer look at the company in question. This is a tale of ambition, challenges, and ultimately a battle for survival. Let's delve deeper into this story. Before we dive into the details, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get into it. Welcome back. It's me. And today we're diving into a topic that could redefine the future of the mining industry. France's uranium giant, Areva, is on the verge of collapse after two of its biggest suppliers, Mali and Niger, rejected its operations in their countries. This move has sent shockwaves through the global uranium market and raised serious questions about Areva's next move. But hold on. Who is Areva, and why should you care about its struggles? Well, Areva is more than just another mining company. It's a powerhouse that supplies around 20% of the uranium used in France's nuclear reactors. That's a big chunk of France's energy needs. Plus, they have a massive global presence with operations on every continent except Antarctica. But despite this seemingly unshakable position in the market, Areva is facing a crisis that threatens to bring it to its knees. So why are Mali and Niger pulling the plug on Areva? You might be wondering what led these countries to make such a drastic decision. Well, the answer lies in a series of complex factors that have been brewing for years. It's a tale of changing political landscapes, economic pressures, and the constant struggle for a better deal. One thing is clear, though: Mali and Niger's decision is not just about uranium. It's about taking control of their resources and shaping their own destinies. Let's start with Mali. This landlocked country has been grappling with a deep political and economic crisis for quite some time. When the military overthrew the government in a coup d'état in 2020, it sent shockwaves throughout the nation and beyond. The international community, including the African Union and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, strongly condemned the move, urging a swift return to constitutional rule. However, instead of backing down, the junta leader declared himself president and announced a 3-year transition period before elections could be held. This defiance only fueled the tension further, leading to a diplomatic and economic fallout. In response, ECOWAS imposed sanctions on Mali, including closing borders and suspending all trade and financial transactions. This economic squeeze had a profound impact on the ordinary people of Mali, exacerbating the already dire humanitarian situation. The country was plunged into an economic crisis with skyrocketing inflation, dwindling foreign reserves, and widespread unemployment. Now let's turn our attention to Niger, another key player in this complex saga. Niger is often referred to as the uranium capital of the world, with a staggering 40% of the world's uranium production originating from its mines. For decades, the country's economy has been intricately linked to this vital resource. However, a shift in power dynamics occurred when Mohamed Bazoum, who had previously advocated for diversification and modernization of Niger's uranium sector, was elected president in 2021. His victory marked a departure from the traditional approach and raised hopes for a new era in Niger's mining industry. He set his sights on renegotiating existing contracts, particularly those related to uranium, which had long been a cornerstone of Niger's economy, but had also attracted significant foreign influence. His efforts culminated in the signing of a new uranium deal with China National Nuclear Corporation, signaling a strategic realignment in the country's mining landscape. With both countries grappling with internal turmoil and external pressures, the stage was set for an unprecedented move. Mali and Niger, two nations heavily reliant on uranium exports, decided to sever ties with the French giant. The reasons were multifaceted, ranging from economic disparities to political tensions. It was a bold, albeit risky strategy that could reshape the future of uranium mining in Africa. But why now? What prompted these nations to cut bait with the once mighty Areva? Was it just about economics, or were there deeper, more complex factors at play? Let's delve deeper and uncover the truth behind this dramatic decision. Areva's journey in Mali dates back several decades, deeply entwining the company's fate with the country's own trajectory. Over the years, Areva's operations in Mali have become an integral part of the local economy, employing thousands of people and contributing significantly to the government's revenue. However, as the political climate shifted and Mali faced increasing economic challenges, the relationship between Areva and the Malian government began to fray. One of the primary flashpoints was the inability of Areva to meet its financial obligations. Despite being a key player in the Malian economy, Areva faced accusations of failing to contribute its fair share to the country's coffers. This disparity between expectations and contributions became a contentious issue, straining relations between the two parties. Moreover, the junta's skepticism towards foreign entities extended beyond financial concerns. There was a growing sentiment that Mali needed to assert greater control over its natural resources. This sentiment resonated deeply with the local population, who felt that foreign companies were reaping the benefits, while Malians themselves were left with limited access to the resources that lay beneath their soil. As the standoff between Areva and Mali escalated, the future of the company's operations in the country hung in the balance. Would Areva find a way to bridge the gap and secure a sustainable partnership with Mali, or would it be forced to withdraw from the country it had called home for decades? Only time would tell. In Niger, the story is much the same. For years, Areva enjoyed a seemingly unassailable position in Niger's uranium sector. However, the recent political upheaval and the emergence of a new leadership eager to renegotiate existing deals turned the tables. The writing was on the wall. Areva needed to adapt or face the consequences. But as the saying goes, hindsight is 20/20. Looking back, there were telltale signs that should have alerted Areva to the brewing discontent. The seeds of dissatisfaction were sown long ago, nurtured by a sense of economic disparity and a yearning for greater control over their natural resources. The Malian and Nigerian people had grown weary of what they perceived as unfair deals and the exploitation of their resources. They yearned for a new dawn, one that promised greater transparency, fairer agreements, and a more prominent voice in decisions that affected their very livelihood. However, instead of heeding these warning signs, Areva seemed to have pressed on, clinging to the status quo. They failed to recognize the shifting sands of the political landscape and the growing discontent among the local populations. As a result, they lost the very foundation that had allowed them to thrive for so long. The end of Areva's reign in Mali and Niger is not just an economic story. It's a tale of missed opportunities and the human cost of corporate hubris. The communities affected by Areva's collapse have borne the brunt of the company's missteps. Lives have been disrupted, families torn apart, and futures jeopardized. It's a stark reminder that behind every economic giant, there's a human story waiting to be told. In the wake of this shocking turn of events, the future of Areva hangs precariously in the balance. With two of its biggest suppliers pulling out, the company's very survival is in jeopardy. How will Areva navigate this uncharted territory? Will it adapt, evolve, or fade into obscurity? Only time will reveal the true extent of the damage caused by Arva's struggles. The ripple effects of Arva's financial woes extend far beyond the company's balance sheet. Communities that have long relied on Areva for sustenance and livelihoods are now grappling with the harsh realities of the company's bankruptcy. The social fabric of these regions is being torn apart, leaving individuals and families struggling to cope with the sudden economic upheaval. The human cost of Arva's bankruptcy is a tragic reality that demands urgent attention and compassionate response. The road ahead for Areva is fraught with uncertainty. With Nigerian turmoil escalating, the company's financial stability is more precarious than ever. Investors are on edge, weighing the risks and potential returns as they navigate this turbulent landscape. The future of Arva's operations hangs in the balance, leaving all stakeholders anxiously anticipating the next chapter in this dramatic saga. As the world watches on, one thing is abundantly clear. The bankruptcy of Areva is not merely a business crisis. It's a pivotal moment that could redefine the future of uranium mining in France and beyond. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the tumultuous world of uranium mining. If you've made it this far, chances are you're as intrigued by this industry as we are. So here's a special offer just for you. And remember, this is just the beginning. We've got many more videos in the works that will delve even deeper into the fascinating world of uranium. So stay tuned, because the future of this industry is full of twists and turns that you wouldn't want to miss. Thanks for watching.
As reactions continue to pour in from across the continent, one thing is clear. Africa is demanding respect, sovereignty, and accountability. Was this just a diplomatic misstep or a deeper sign of shifting global alliances? We'll be watching closely. If you found this story important, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real, unfiltered African news. This is Talk of Africa 360, telling the stories that matter.